Morning, guys. Uh, how we doing today? Uh, yeah. So this morning, I want to talk about a few different things. First of all, I most of my videos, is top shot in my kitchen, some in my shop, some down. I when I do water changes, which I didn't do a water change video last week, but that was just with all the holiday nonsense. There wasn't a whole lot of time. Um, Working in a pizza shop for a living, our busiest time of the year is from pretty much Beggars Night on Trick or Treat, Halloween, to the first of the year. And this last week has just been moving and grooving. So I had time to do like quick water changes and moved on. I probably put in 40 hours just in the last 3 or 4 days. Um, it's been a long week at any rate. But I only got 2 more days to go on my work week. My weekends are Wednesdays and Thursdays, which is why I do water changes on Thursdays. Do everything else on Wednesdays. So anyhow, um, I was making up my grocery list this morning. I go to the grocery store at least every other Tuesday, Wednesday, but a lot of times I go once a week. There's always something to replenish, or we'll try a new recipe, and there might be something we don't have, like fresh herbs. Although I do have some herb plants up, all I have is oregano, a little bit of thyme, and mint. I like mint. I'll put it in my tea with a little bit of sugar, and or sometimes I'll use honey, depending on my mood, and then a shot or so of bourbon, and make a nice adult beverage. It just is very refreshing. Pour that all over ice and run with it. Um, it it, uh, it helps soothe the soul and remind me it's okay to slow down. You don't have to be busy all the time. So that being said, anyhow, I was making my grocery list, and I'm the only one up. I was thinking about how I wanted to share with you how A, I make my grocery list, B, how I kind of plan things out. So, first thing I do when I make my grocery list, because I live with children, um, I go through and organize my fridge and cabinets real quick. Sometimes there's no organization needed. Sometimes, like this morning, there's a lot of organization needed. And I can be just as guilty as putting things back exactly where they are sometimes. But with limited space, we do try fairly hard to keep things the way they go. But anyhow, I organize. So like my pantry, which is over here, I'll show you real quick. Right there, where the cast iron skillets are, that is my main pantry, which I've shown in other videos. Uh, I go through, organize it. I have a pad of paper and a pen handy. And as I organize it, I write down things either I'm running really low on, like if I've only got one can of cream of chicken. I know I need to get a couple more just in case. So I write that down. In this case, we've made a couple batches of chili. So I know I need some more chili beans. I need another jar or two of spaghetti sauce, and small shelled pasta. So I write that down. All right, after I've organized it, and then I move over to my baking cabinet, which is even smaller, and anything I may need in there. Now, by may need in there, I mean I don't have it down. Having a second pantry down in the basement to rotate. Rotating a second pantry is important. If not, I mean, granted, most of the things down there will last for years, but I try to rotate up. So what I do is I organize it. We'll take, for example, the cream of chicken. I organize it. Oh gosh, I've only got one can up there. So I go downstairs to see if I have any downstairs, which in this example I would. So I would just go ahead, just to get it out of the way, bring that cream of chicken up here, put it in the main pantry, and then when I buy my couple cans of cream of chicken, they go downstairs. Rotating is important, or you can end up with some bad, with bad product, and it's kind of a waste of time, or bad groceries, or whatever you want to call it. and then you're throwing it away, and that's never cool. Some things you can freeze, not canned goods, not dry goods, but eggs, milk, butter. You can freeze all those, cream cheese. If you find it in the back of your fridge and you're like, oh my gosh, it's only got a week left and it's not any good, you can freeze it. Now, depending on what it is you freeze, like you can freeze yogurt for that matter, but it changes it a little. So depending on what you do with your, well, in this case, dairy, um, you may want to freeze it. You may want to just use it up real quick before it goes bad. But you want to try not to waste anything. So after I organize each thing and I make my grocery list, that includes my deep freeze, my freezer, my refrigerator, the baking pantry, and I've rotated everything up that I can from the basement. I make my grocery list as I go, and that way that's done. Um, Another thing you want to think about when making your grocery list is what meals am I going to make for the week? Planning your meals is really important, especially I should say if you cook a lot, planning your meals are important. If you do everything by the frozen food aisle or in a microwave, then you don't have to plan so much. Um, but we don't. So when I plan my meals for the week, I plan at least one day of leftovers because there's always leftovers. That we'll eat leftovers. Plus, we use leftovers for lunch. Um, Chris is always home. Very rarely does she have to go into her office. She works from home. So that way we know that there's lunch here for her. I have 2 days off. Sometimes I work nights, so I'm home for lunch. That gives us the leftovers, give us lunch. Um, my daughter at the moment, my middle daughter, who's still here, um, she's still doing at home school, so she's home. So that gives us lunch. I mean, we also buy things like lunch meat and stuff like that, so we can have sandwiches, um, and a small bag of chips or whatever. But that helps when you cook from home. It gives you more than one meal. Um, like for example, last night, uh, Chris had made chicken Alfredo, which was fantastic, by the way. But there was leftovers. So today for lunch, I'll probably have chicken Alfredo. If not, I'll have one of the soups that we have in the fridge, and somebody else will eat the chicken Alfredo. Either way, leftovers are important. That meal that cost us maybe $4 to make at most, not only did it feed all four of us in the house, but it gave us leftovers for today. So we got two meals. So it cost us $2 a meal, you know, to feed four people. That's good. So anyhow, you want to plan your meals for the week, or at least get a general idea of it. I know we leave at least one day or so dinner wise to just eat up all the leftovers. That way nothing goes to waste. Um, the reason why we plan meals is, say there's something in one of the cookbooks we want to make that we plan on making, and we don't have whatever one ingredient or two. Um, we can get it at the store when I go to the grocery store. In this case, it'll be probably tomorrow morning before I go to work, but it might be Wednesday. It'll just depend on my mood. So that way I can pick up what we want or need to make those meals. Because there's a few things I don't keep on hand a whole lot all the time. I like green peppers, banana, any kind of pepper, hot or sweet. We don't keep a whole lot of on hand because we may not get to them. I mean, life gets in the way, um, and it's hard to do. So unless I know I'm making something that involves peppers, I usually don't keep them here. Where carrots will last a lifetime in the fridge if they're kept cold enough. You can even freeze carrots for that matter. Celery holds well. Lettuce, if you buy a head that's firm enough, will last a couple weeks in the fridge before it starts to go bad. Potatoes, you don't even keep in the fridge. Those last forever, along with onions. Those we keep on hand pretty regular. Basically, we try to keep everything but peppers. on hand. And peppers, I'll buy, like this week, I know I want to do some stuffed peppers, sweet bell peppers, and poblano peppers. So I'll buy some this week while I'm at the store. Another thing to look at when you're planning meals is what proteins are you using? Beef, chicken, sausage. Are those things you're gonna be cooking with this week? I know I am. So I went ahead and pulled out today 2.5 pounds of hamburger. I pulled out chicken. I had frozen lunch meat in there, and we were out of lunch meat in the fridge, so I pulled it out. Some bacon. I pull it out now to use throughout the week. So you could say, well, why would you pull all that out now? All right, with proteins, with meats specifically, you want to, if at all possible, plan ahead with those, kind of like a have on hand thing at any rate. When you thaw them, you don't want to leave it sit on your counter if at all possible. The reason for that is, depending on what you're making, say I want to make meatloaf tonight. Well, my meatloaf takes 2 pounds of hamburger, which is what I have a 2.25 pound package of hamburger, because Walmart doesn't do even pounds on their pre-packed hamburgers, or hamburger meat. So I have 2.25 pounds of hamburger, and I'm probably not going to make meatloaf till Thursday, but at any rate, I set that on the counter. All right. Well, what happens is it takes hours for it to thaw completely, and I want it thawed completely. I don't want anything frozen, and try to mix it and all that stuff. So what you get is that 2.25 pound hamburger sitting on your counter. The outside brings it up to room temperature within the first 30, 35 minutes, we'll say, where the center is still frozen. Well, when that outside hits what most people in the food industry and most health codes will tell you, health codes, the health people, anybody that deals with food in the FDA will tell you that outside layer sits in the danger zone of 40 degrees to 120 degrees for too long, and it starts to grow bacteria. Now you can say, I'm going to cook that, and you are going to cook that, but realistically, you may not kill everything, and it only takes one little microscopic piece of bacteria to make you sick, or a family member sick. So it's better to plan ahead. I pulled, like this morning, like I said, hamburger, sausage, chicken, bacon, bologna, all out of the freezer. I stuck it into Lexon's, or Tupperware storage container at any rate. Here, I'll show you. So right here, I have pork loin right there. I got sausage and I got bacon. I got all my pork stored in one Lexon, storage container. I say Lexon because that's what we have at work. That's what restaurants use. They're Lexons and our Lexons. There's nothing more than storage containers. But anyhow, I put that in the fridge, and that way, yes, it takes longer to thaw. That pork, realistically, along with the hamburger I had in the other container, probably won't be thawed completely for a couple days. My fridge stays really cold, so the hamburger, it might even be 3 days before it's completely thawed. I've seen chicken go, 4 or 5 days before it's completely thawed. But the point being is, it never gets above 40 degrees, or it doesn't get it to an unsafe temperature. It takes longer to thaw, but it thaws evenly. So you don't have to so much worry about it depending on your fridge. You shouldn't have to worry about using it up, quickly. The most you're losing is real estate in your fridge, which I know, at least in our house, we got it down to what goes on what shelves and how much we need. I've got one shelf in there dedicated just to glass jars for stuff we've canned. One shelf for dairy, which leads me to another thing real quick. Always store your raw meats at the bottom. Now, I know in most fridges you've got drawers at the bottom, at the very bottom, so that makes it kind of an inconvenience, but at least store it on the bottom shelf. You don't want, if you store meat up high, and this happens to everybody, you get that one thing of hamburger that gets leaky and starts dripping down. If you don't put it in a container, it can get all over everything, your vegetables, and it although I mean it probably in theory may not hurt you because it's in the refrigerator, it's cold, and you should wash your vegetables before you use them. You still don't want to take that chance. It can still make you sick. We do, our drinks at the top, only because that's the only place that'll fit a gallon of milk. And then we have all our dairy on the next shelf down, butter, eggs, things like that, sour cream, yogurts. And then we do meats, leftovers, and then raw meats. And then the drawer we have on the bottom holds vegetables and cheese. Like I said, but to help combat making a mess with anything that may leak meat-wise, I keep them in containers. So that's one thing to look at. I stick to, when I do go to the grocery, I try my hardest to stick to the grocery list. That makes it more economical for you. You know how much you're spending, and over time, you'll get to know prices of stuff, and you'll know how much you're going to spend before you even leave the house, which helps you budget, which can help you save money. If you can find coupons to use, that's even better, especially if you buy a lot of frozen items. You're not a cook. You don't have that time, although I still think that the world needs to slow down. We should make time to cook. But if you don't have that time, I get it, sort of. But use coupons. Now, the one thing I will say with coupons is watch online coupons. Try to make sure they're manufacturer coupons or in-store coupons. If you get on a lot of grocery store chains websites, they'll have in-store coupons that you can use. Manufacturer coupons are always good, even if they're online. They can scan them off your phone. Be leery of third-party coupon sites. I say this based on, I know just from working in the restaurant industry, there are a lot of coupon sites that will offer coupons for different restaurants that they're not in agreement with. They may not even have the right to offer a coupon on behalf of that company, which can lead to an issue. I see it a lot, not just with our restaurant, but several places. So try to make sure they're manufacturer-based coupons or in-store coupons. Look for sales and specials. Our pantry is pretty well set already, but there may be, say like we try a new dish and we like it. I may go buy 2 cans the next time of whatever it is I'll use 1 can of, or jar of, or whatever, and keep the other one downstairs so we can make it again. What I don't do is go and buy the entire shelf full of that item so there's none for anybody else. That's just rude, and that's hoarding. If more people stock their shelves a little better when they go to the grocery store, even if you just spend an extra $5-6 when you go to the grocery store. There's a lady, her YouTube channel is called Mary's Nest, and she does a really nice video on how to stock your pantry for $5 a week, or $20 a month. So that way you're prepared. It takes longer, to maybe hit your end goal. It took us a year and change to be able to get our second pantry where we wanted it to be, to make sure that our main pantry up here is full, and that I have baking supplies, and we cook a lot at home, so it's more of kind of a necessity. But like I said in my one video, when we all had to quarantine for 2 weeks, we didn't miss a beat. The only thing we had to truly worry about was milk and eggs, and that's because I don't have a cow or chickens. So, but anyhow, coupons, make sure you use them if you can, especially if you do a lot of um, frozen items, quick meals. Work within a budget, always within a budget. I know we do. I always, like I said in my last video, we spend about $450 a month in groceries, and realistically, about $300 a month of that is protein, is meats. But we eat meat with almost every dinner meal. I will never pretend to be a vegetarian or a vegan. Not that I have anything against that, but I like meat. I like chicken in particular. But so we buy, we're kind of heavy on the meats and other stuff, but where we spent that just $10, $15 extra a week to 2 weeks, when I went to the grocery store, we don't have to spend a lot on everything else. We don't have to spend a lot on macaroni noodles or spaghetti sauce because we have it, and then that way, if say like spaghetti sauce, we use up a jar or two of spaghetti sauce through the week. I got a jar or two left. I don't have to buy it at the grocery store, but if I have the extra, I will. I guess is what it comes down to. Stock your pantry a little bit, plan your meals. And like I said, we eat at home 7 days a week. With the exception of once a month, we'll do pizza. On a rare occasion, we may do McDonald's, but for the most part, we eat at home. So I plan my meals. You could say, well, I don't really have time to cook at home. So this is what I do. Like tomorrow, I work in the evening. So when I get up in the morning, after I've had coffee, after I've had breakfast, and like I've said before, breakfast is important. You should always eat it, even if it's a bowl of oatmeal or a bowl of cereal. You need to start your gut health. It keeps you healthy. You got to break fast. Anyhow, so I plan my meals. Today, I'm writing my grocery list. I've organized my cabinets. I've wrote my grocery list. Now I'm going to plan my meals. I'm going to write them down. What are we going to have at least for dinner every night? And some breakfasts. If I'm going to deviate from eggs for breakfast, like I want to do French toast or pancakes, I write that down. That way I know I have the stuff. Or I can ensure I have the stuff. So I plan my meals. What I do then now, like tomorrow, I'll go, get whatever it is I need, which my grocery list is literally like 12 items. I don't know if you can see that or not, or if it's even relevant, but it's literally, and I separate into sections on my grocery list. I put all my meats in one area, I put all my dairy in one area, I put all my vegetables in one area, and I put all my dry goods in one area. And I write it down. I go to the grocery store often enough that I know where pretty much everything is in my particular grocery store. I write it down so that way I can grab it as I go. When I grocery shop, and I don't know why, maybe everybody knew this but me, but I didn't for the longest time, I start with vegetables. And then I don't pick up any frozen till the end. I get my vegetables, as that's the first thing you usually see when you walk in the door of a grocery store. Then I get all my dry stock stuff, coffee, tea, canned goods, pastas, cereal, all that. Then I grab my meats and dairy and my frozen. I get those last to ensure they don't sit in the cart and warm up. Because even though a grocery store can be slightly chilly compared to like maybe your house, it's not that chilly. So I get that stuff last. I get my frozen stuff dead last, so that way it doesn't thaw before I get home. I do make 2 stops most of the time when I grocery shop. I go to the grocery store and then I go to the butcher shop. So anyhow, I plan my meals. I've gone to the grocery store. I get home. What do I do Wednesday morning? It's my first day off. I will spend Wednesday morning cooking meals. It doesn't take long. You don't have to make, fast meals, but I at least make 2 or 3 meals in advance for dinner for everybody. And we stick them in the fridge. That way, they're quick. We got them. They're ready to go. All we got to do is heat them up, and life is good. If I can't cook them right then and there, because I like French onion chicken, can't really make French onion chicken and then save it. It tastes good, but it doesn't taste as good as when it's fresh. I know it's got garlic, it's got onion in it. I'll go ahead and get that stuff cut up now. I prep. Even if you don't want to cook it, prep it. So all you got to do is walk in the door and dump it together. If I want to make enchiladas one night, super simple. Because I already have hamburger cooked up. All I got to literally do is dump it in the skillet to warm it, add my taco seasoning and some onion, and put it in my burrito shell with some cheese, fold it over, fry it in the pan. You could literally have dinner in 20 minutes if you plan ahead of time. Yes, it does take some time, but Wednesday morning, I get up early, even when I go to bed late. So by 7 o'clock, I'm cooking. I make 2 or 3 meals. I plan a couple of easy meals. And then, so that's 5 meals. And then we've got a day of leftovers. And Sundays usually we try to do a better sized family meal because I work in the morning. I can get home in time to have dinner. And Chris has the day off so she can start cooking ahead of time, or I'll throw something in the slow cooker. So we always do at least a slow cooker meal, a couple, 2, 3, easy dishes that I can prepare ahead of time, and then we'll do a couple quick meals and one night of leftovers because there's always leftovers. But that's how we plan our dinners. Lunches are almost always leftovers, or bologna sandwiches, or sandwiches of some kind, and some chips. Excuse me. Good gosh, I got a frog in my throat. Breakfast is almost always eggs, whether it be with bacon or no bacon, some toast, occasional bowl of cereal. I usually eat cereal as a late night snack, or some oatmeal or something that's, most of the stuff I make for breakfast isn't, although it sounds healthy, isn't healthy because it's all cooked in grease. Because I almost always have bacon or some kind of protein with breakfast. But I still move and I still go. So that's the important thing. And the whole what is healthy is a whole different video. But anyhow, I wanted to share that with you. That's how I do. We do our grocery list. That's how we plan our meals, why we plan our meals, and how it'll save you money budgeting in the long run. If you don't want to make a grocery list all at once, like I do here, we will hang up blank piece of paper on the front of the fridge. There's always pins up top in our case. If we run out of it, run low, or somebody has an idea for something, they write it down on that list. Where I keep my stuff on a notepad, my wife and kids know, Chris, Sarah, and Abby know that they can just write it down and start a grocery list. Or if I've started one like I did here and they see something they want to add to it before I go to the store tomorrow, they just put it on there. That way I know to pick it up. But that way we know. We're always planning in advance. It makes life so much easier when you go to do something. Okay, I think that's it. I've rambled for almost a half hour. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. Take care. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Smile underneath of it. And tell somebody else that you love them. That's very important to hear, I think. All right. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.